Hello Internet and welcome to Season 2 of Ship of the Week, a series where I have just 1 hour to design a ship based on your viewer suggestions and hopefully make it work. Ships that do pass my completely unbiased inspection will go up on the workshop for everyone to download and enjoy, but the ships that don't make the cut, well, they get scuttled. We have a lot of great new ideas this season and a lot of new game mechanics to test out. So let's hop right on in to Ship of the Week. In today's video, we're going to be going loosely off of a comment made by Insane Visor. I assume that's how you'd say that. Basically, what they wanted, they phrased it in the form of a statement. I'm spending a lot of time trying to build a ship that can be merged in another identical ship to expand itself in a mobile base like petals in a flower. Which sounded, interesting enough for me to spin it into my own idea. I was like, do I want to try and build some sort of expanding base? Maybe like a base that can print off new bits to it. All interesting. But then I remembered a ship from the Guardians of the Galaxy. I guess it was the first movie. That ship, it was, I guess, some sort of patrol cruiser thing, but they had a whole bunch of them that sort of connected together like a big old net and then stopped the bad guy from landing as quickly. I've always kind of wanted to try and do that in Space Engineers. It just seemed like a really cool concept. And I think I've come up with a truly outrageous idea on how we can make that work and make it actually a useful thing. So I'm here in space. I guess without further ado, let's bring our timer up. And in 3, 2, 1, go. So my idea here, I'm going to build basically a little small grid, fairly powerful tug ship sort of thing. So I think we're going to go with hydrogen fuel, right? Yeah, I like hydrogen. So hydrogen fuel, we're going to need a cockpit, a battery. I think I'm going to start with cockpit. Maybe we just do the nice classic one of those. Do I? Yeah, and we should put oxygen. So I may do that a little differently. We'll have no 2H2 gen. Then oxygen tank on it. My idea here, probably not strictly necessary, but I figure, make it nice and workable, and that gives us some convenient connection points that I'm gonna just do with these for now until I know exactly how I want to do it. So then we can fit some hydrogen tanks. I'm thinking 4 of them. I want this thing to have a lot of power and the ability to put that power out over a fairly long time for what I'm thinking with it. I'll have 2 large thrusters, forward and back. Now, I want the thrust on this to be fairly even. So I think we'll have 2 large thrusters pointing pretty much every direction. I'll have to pipe those side ones up. I can fit... yeah. That'll work. So I've got sort of a hydrogen thruster turtle. Now, I guess before I get too far, let's stick all the important bits in. We should only need 1 of those. I'm gonna give it... yeah, we can still run conveyors through there. Gonna give it 2 gyros. Maybe 3 gyros. Because I think these things are going to need some power. And then I'm gonna, I think in a first for this series, if I could find it, there it is, I'm going to include an action relay in this ship. And we'll see what that gets used for later. I think I've not used them too much, so I think I only need one. Maybe we'll leave this all open and we can figure that out. I think I'm also going to want an antenna, so we'll just stick that back there. Now, real quick, let's get some of this piping done. I'm using the reinforced conveyors. I tend to stick with these most of the time, unless I like specifically want the decorative, like a decorative pipe going somewhere. Just because these, they give connection points all over, they hold the ship together better, they're just infinitely more useful. I figure if you're going to have internal piping, you might as well make it out of something that's, you know, really going to connect everything together. Now, I do have to make a bit of a decision. And I think given this doesn't look like a very clean connection, I'm going to plan to cover pretty much this entire thing in armor. So, we'll go ahead and... I was debating doing that decorative connection for these pipes here. But I don't think we'll worry about it. For the vision I have for this thing, I think it would work better to cover it and then maybe add some greebling detail. That's looking pretty good. Last step, so all the other thrust I had big thrusters. For the lifting thrust, I think I'm actually going to do small. That's because part of the idea of this thing, so it's sort of this flat round bit, it's going to barnacle onto the side of a ship. So the bottom will be attached to a ship. I don't really want to burn holes in the ship when I'm attached to it. And I'm looking at this. Yeah, they're up there. That's a shame, because that's the exact right position, but the connectors aren't quite right. Though... I could still pipe that up over the top. Yeah, this should work. It's a little weird, but should all be connected. So the cockpit still gets oxygen. And I kind of like the cockpit in this position. So that looks pretty ship-like. Now, I think next step, before I go ahead and cover with armor, the next thing I'm thinking, the idea here is that this ship can interconnect with other ships to build a ring. So, I think the best way to do that is to probably... Oh, actually, it's a good thing I need an extra block here, because I bet you it would actually be smart to use conveyors so that I can actually pipe these things together. That way not only can they link together, but they can share fuel. So I'll have a piston there, and a piston over here, facing the right way. Then on those pistons, I guess, yeah, on this side we'll have a hinge part. On the other side we'll have a hinge without a part. So you can see how this is sort of meant to work. These pistons, you know, I guess they're sort of stowed right now. They'd extend out, and then I can connect this side of one ship to this side of the next. And they're sort of infinitely connectable. Let's go into this action relay and figure out how it works. Because my idea for it, oh, my idea for it is actually not important. Do I leave it in there? I'm going to leave it in there because it's there, but my original thought for it was to have a control so that I could basically turn the thrusters on and off of all the ships, but they're connected together, so I can have a group with forward thrust and then control it that way. So it's actually a fairly simple ship to set up. Gosh, infinitely repeatable is really the way to go. So, essentially, if I create a group called forward thrust, any other ships I connect to this will also have that group. And because the group will have the same name, it essentially controls all of the thrusters on all of the ships. It's pretty much the exact reason you don't want to have groups with generic names in a normal ship. Because if you had two ships that both have thrust as a command group, that you don't want to control together, you're out of luck if you have the same group name. But in this case, that's exactly what we want. So we'll have that. We'll have a group for the pistons. I should probably have, not reverse. I'll have my retro thrusters group. That'll control the backward thrusters, of course. And I think that's pretty much it. Now, ooh. Yeah, this thing can move. I'm gonna really quick... Oh! Aha! I remembered one of the things that I said I was gonna forget, and then promptly forgot. I don't actually have a connector on here. I could do a bottom connector. Yeah, and I might as well. Though I want it recessed in, because I want this thing to basically have a... Do I want it to have a flat bottom? Maybe I don't. In fact, oh. No, I want this to be here. So the tanks don't touch things. I can then drop my cockpit one down so it's piped directly to the O2H2 and get rid of these. Basically, so I want to use this as sort of a connection point, and I can build little skids on the tanks as connection points. That way I'm not bumping tanks into things. And then the cockpit, you can still like look out the floor of the cockpit and see you're attached to the hull of the ship. Yeah, that's perfect. And it still means that the connector's low enough to lock. So that's that. I guess now it's just detailing. I wish we had a good way to sort of, I don't know, fill this little gap. Because I don't actually want to cover this whole thing in armor. I think it actually looks decent just as it is. Maybe I just do a few finishing touches. I could exchange these out for normal conveyors. Actually, do I have... Where are the pipes? Can I use pipes in small grid? There you are. No, didn't think so. So normal conveyors will have to do. Yeah, that should be good. And then some good old-fashioned beam blocks, which aren't particularly old-fashioned. Actually, I hate that the slip doesn't have much detail. Slip? Tip. The 2x1 tip piece doesn't have very much detail in these. Because those have an awkward lineup with that tank. I don't think... Yeah, no, I could use small tanks, but that defeats the purpose. These are the only tanks I have access to. Alright, maybe we just use normal armor to help cover up some of these passage things and align with the whatnots. Now, something that may work, we'll give it a try here. But these, down to the corner and then using these half bits, hopefully give us just a little bit of detail. This is the biggest issue with trying to do anything around these tanks. It's because the collision box is a square. You have these awkward gaps. Like, that gap is begging for a half slope in there. It would look perfect with that. But you can't do it. So I think the best course of action is going to be just leave them empty. Maybe do... something like this to kind of disguise them a bit. Yeah, it's something. Okay. So I'm going to do something that's a little wild on this series, but I feel like I have a pretty good amount of time, considering this is basically done. I'm going to take a copy, and this is something I do a lot when I'm designing ships just in my free time, is if I have an idea to iterate on something that would involve a lot of change, make a copy, that way the original ship stays as it's built. I don't have to, you know, rip it apart. But I can rip this apart, which is going to be a pretty big ripping. I'm going to go ahead and turn on mirror mode with M and then N and various iterations. So what I'm thinking here, it may involve getting rid of this as well. So I don't like how those thrusters were coming out, but we have these sort of big conveyor fellas. If I do... Heck, if I just do 2 of them, then tank, and then big thruster. It makes this a much longer ship. And it means we have a bunch of inside junk. Though actually, here real quick. Stick that there. Maybe this here. I think I took the blue or the copy from the wrong end. There we go. So if we'd have those in there like that, gonna create another copy, gut the thing, and then on this one real quick, we'll just get rid of all these. So this, I think I've done before, but I'm essentially building modular bits at the moment. So we've got our core bit, we've got our 2 thruster pods. If I take... where do I want... Just so I can place stuff. Let's do that there. And then... Oh. Interestingly, these are still connected somehow. Oh, maybe they aren't. Will this let me... Maybe... Yes. So if I stick that there, so those thrusters are in the middle again. Stick this one on the other side. Sort of shifted our whole inner bit back. Cockpit's still not in a bad spot.
Energy low.
I think I like this better. I do need air, though. Yeah, so this is much better integrated, I think. Goodbye, you. I could even... I don't know what I could fit back here. I don't need much. And we'll just leave it empty for the moment. I do need, though... Actually... Nope, I need you. What is connected to what here? So, those two upper thrusters... Well, it doesn't matter, does it? So I can connect... If I go, it'll be easier to see underneath. I can connect these angled bits back up to this by using one of these adapters facing that way. And then for the upper thrusters, I can get them by getting rid of those blocks, rotating that 90 degrees. It'll be easier to see from up top now. I can get that port like so. So that's pretty nice firm connections. Everything's piped up. I even have easy piping access for the connector now. It's a little silly. I could stick a bunch of small tanks back here. Let's do a little greebling and see what we think. So, I can do some detailing on this big flat area. That'll make it look better. Do that. That breaks it up a little bit. Get some nice mirroring. Do the same down here. And then just fill that in. Do that for that. Yeah, that's not bad. I do still need my, bottom thrusters. Ooh, actually. If I have those there, that gives me a little extra oomph. Then, what I'm thinking, where are the mags? There we go. I kind of want to use this. And it won't work on the tanks. It will work right there, though. It only gives me one merge connection, but that may be all I have to... I mean, realistically, that's all I'd need. And it may simplify things. I think I'm going to line it up, though. This doesn't matter, but if I put it center with the pistons, I feel like it makes sense. Oh, that'll get quirky. I could have a second set of pistons with a second set of hinge back here that would get used. It would probably stabilize the whole thing. But oh boy, could it potentially cause some issue. Nah, I think we're gonna go with just the one. For my idea on this thing, it shouldn't matter. So we'll just cover up these with these little hatches. There we go. It's nice and nondescript. Now, I need to stuff it full of ice real quick. because I have the onboard O2H2 gen. This will give us enough fuel to, yeah, start. I should be able to dock up to Moe's Diner there and fill up the rest of the way. Yeah, now I guess the last thing this needs is a paint job. Fairly basic and straightforward, but I like how that came out. Okay. Last step, I suppose. Let's go ahead. So I'll have a switch lock there. I'll have a switch lock on that over here where it doesn't matter. Oh. Right, I deleted my forward thrusters group. Because I deleted the forward thrusters. So, gonna have a toggle here to turn on and off my braking retro thrust. Then we'll have an increase and decrease thrust for those. My idea here is essentially when I have a bunch of these hooked together, I can control all their thrusters at once with the overrides, because I can't do it with just my normal WAS and D. This last bit of setup. Yeah, the antenna will be fine. I'll have it show the ship name for when we eventually name it. Oh, right. I need controls for... We'll do reverse here. We'll have an on-off control for the pistons. And then, where is my... There's my hinge. There's not a switch lock, so I have to have an attach. And a detach. Okay. Hopefully I don't need any other controls. So, what the hinge controls should let me do, so I can extend them out, stop them with the on-off, to put them at whatever distance I want them. And then, once I have two of these together, I can use my 7 to attach or my 8 to detach when I want to unconnect. So, not the most elegant, but should work for our purposes. Yeah. You know, I think we're actually done. Let's go ahead and pause our clock. 21 minutes and 49 seconds. That is by far the best time, but this was a relatively small vehicle. I guess the idea is it'll get bigger, so it may or may not work long term if it doesn't get bigger and do what I'm planning to do with it. Oh, I did do... Okay. While we're here, we're starting the clock again. Unprecedented. I remembered one other group. One other control I want that means I won't have... Here. We aren't going to have our reverse thrusters. I want to be able to turn off my lifting thrust when I dock onto a ship. So I'll have those on a toggle. The override should override the reverse thrusters anyway, so I shouldn't have an issue with that. There is an occasional glitch where your forward thrust just means your reverse thrust tries to push against you. But hopefully that won't happen. Okay. Now we're paused. So, 2047, still very good time. I'm going to go ahead and hook this up and get it full of fuel real quick, and then I guess it's on to testing. Alright. So here we are with the, I guess, interlocking tug machine. I'll come up with a witty name for that, I'm sure. I guess the first test is going to be putting a few together and seeing if they can interlock. So, we've got our first one. I'm going to just leave it where it is in case things go horrible. So, we'll have one there. We'll have one there. In theory, I can just kind of line up to it and connect. Those thrusters are a little bit close with the pistons in this orientation. But is this going to work? Yes, we're now 2 grids, which means I should have control over myself. So, if I do my pistons, yes, all of them extend. Perfect. Ooh. Now there is some awkward torsional control here. I suppose that's fine. Oh boy. Okay, the hinges are a little wiggly. So that's less ideal. Here, let's try something. So if I connect 4 of these guys together, which is a little tricky to do because they are touchy, but we have you. Oh, that is one here. That is one flaw with these, is if the pistons aren't at the same extension, they'll extend and retract weird. Oh, especially because they were... Yeah, I've made the thruster or the pistons all silly. Yeah, they're all reversed now. Okay, well that's fine. Because what we can do is we can just do this, and then now they should all be going the same direction. I need to tell them this should... There we go. Now they're all the same on. Yep. Okay, so a little awkward to set up, but you do have control over that. And these things aren't necessarily... This is construction equipment, right? It's not... You know, it may need a little bit of more complex touch to operate and get it all set up. Okay, so I've got all 4 now. Just for safety, I'm gonna go ahead and bend us, apparently. Okay. We've got some waves. Oh. Uh-oh. Okay. I didn't intend for us to do this already. Oh. Oh. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, that's not how hinges work. Uh-oh. I think I've created some clang. They don't seem happy. Here, hold on. We're gonna take these a little further away from all the important bits, because I'm gonna try something here. They are slowly cooking themselves, which isn't good. Okay. Hinges. Share inertia tensor. Oh. Okay, it didn't do so much bad stuff. Hinges. Reverse. Oh. Okay. I think some of the hinges are broken. Let's see if we can get this to figure itself out. No, I think those are stuck together. Oh, and yeah, one of our tanks is on fire now. Okay. Round 2. So that's a downside with these, is they are a little clang prone. I'm just gonna go ahead. We're gonna, when you're connecting, you'd have these extended from the get-go. So we'll have that. I'm gonna make some quick hinge setting adjustments just in case. That should be good. Okay. So if I connect this guy up. Oops. Okay, I got backwards on which way I was going. Okay. There we go. Those are attached. What I'm going to do is send this hinge. Yeah. 45 degrees. Now, you could do this from inside the cockpit as well. Maybe I'll do that on this one. But my goal here is to connect these into sort of a square. So if I do it a little more carefully instead of trying to do them all at once at the end, maybe that will keep things sane. Oh, except for I don't know which hinge is which. You could do this and figure it out, but come on, build vision is just so useful. They have begun to spin. That's not ideal. Let me see if I can fix that. So the downside with hinges in general. Yep. The forces they're imparting occasionally will continue even if they, even if they've hit their limit, they'll still be putting force on. And with enough of them, you can make things spin and do all kinds of awkward stuff. And downside, oh. And I can't see. The big thrusters make every movement very difficult. There we go. We're attached. So now, if I just do that, I may have to wiggle it just a bit. Yep. If I go into this one, I should attach. There we go. That took longer than I wanted, but we are a square. So from here, I guess the test will be, so we can turn off our inner thrusters. Can we sort of operate this like one ship? Oh. Okay, I've added a bit of forward thrust. We're moving forward. I can turn. I can see by my sort of tracking ball that all the ships are actually turning correctly. We're keeping our thrust mostly forward. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, that's because we're braking. Okay, braking is weird. Okay. Definitely not a traditional flight experience, but this is a controllable ship. Alright. We really boost it. Things go weird. Oh my god. That's terrifying. Okay. Right. So now, you may see that glowing white, giant rover over in the distance. Our next challenge is the sort of whole design idea behind these is to be able to move large ships by attaching a bunch of modular thrust. So I'm going to see if I can create a big old ring around that carrier out of these things and, fly it. Oh boy. I'm not sure quite how many of these we're going to need. I guess we'll go from this way, and the way I'm figuring this will work. So if I kind of come over to this edge, I've attached with my not merge block, with my landing gear. I can turn off the lifting thrust, so I'm not cooking anything. And now I can start connecting and basically building a chain around this thing. My goal... So, not every one of these is probably going to connect. As in... Okay. Well, that was unexpected. Right. I need to stop this from moving. Oh. That's a flaw. Not quite sure why that happened. Need those thrusters on again. Okay, so maybe I don't connect down until we're ready? This is a very clangy thing I'm trying to do here, so... it may not be a good idea. Let's do it anyway. Turn that off. Yeah, the other option, I guess, is to build a ring of ships roughly the right size and then connect them all in. It's maybe easier. Without inertia dampeners? I don't know. Oh, maybe. I'm drifting into it. Attach. I'm not drifting into it. There we go. Oh, yeah. Okay, we got it. Okay. Yeah, so inertial dampeners are a problem. I probably should have known that. Okay. So we're just going to try and build a ring around this ship. Yeah. Oh. Need another copy of this. Hopefully the wheels won't cause an issue. Actually, yeah, I'm just gonna... So this isn't really designed for land vehicles, so I'm just gonna cut the wheels off real quick. We don't need to have them causing us issues. And what I can do then, with them out of the way... So the fun of this is we can essentially kind of wrap them around in more of a, more of a shape. A sort of non-square geometric-y pattern. I bet you I can get that one to lock on again. Because the other benefit here is we can have multiple points. If we can get multiple points locked, that should make it a little more controllable for the larger ship. Yep, there we go. That one's locked. This may fit one more. If I get it... Nah, I'm not going to be perfectly lined up on the first try. That would have been too impressive. But we are close. Oh, we're real close. Okay. We're less close now. Ooh. And this is going to get weird. I think we may have twisted a little bit along the way. Now, part of the reason I put pistons in here too is so that if need be, I can adjust my piston length to make this all line up. Oh, no. Okay. I'm trying to force it in. Oh, it's right there. The issue is I have to use this one to connect. Ooh. Okay. We can do something that might get a little rowdy. Disconnect our first one. So we can try to get... Nope. Nope, I think I've... The whole chain is coming undone now. Oh boy. Okay, that was the wrong move. You know, we're drifting completely. The whole thing is spinning. This isn't looking good. Let's just see if we can get it locked again. There we go. Okay. I think we've messed our chain up a little. It could maybe just connect, but... Okay, well, I am thinking that the proper way to do this would be to connect the chain without the ship attached. Build one that's roughly the right size and smush yourself around it. Oh, this is so close. Oh. Okay. I can just get this up by like a micrometer. Oh. Oh, oh, oh. Ha! I don't know what I've done, but I've done it. We have a ring of these janky thruster jets around this wheelless rover. Okay. Well, this is gonna get weird. My camera's not happy. Let's turn this off so we can... Well, no, I need it on so I can see what's happening. Alright. Let's see what happens. Can we move this ship with this clang nightmare? First, we'll turn off all our lifting thrusts so we don't cook the ship. Okay. In 3, 2, 1. Oh. Okay, our thrusters are turning inward in a somewhat disconcerting manner. We are moving. We're moving with some speed. Braking. Brake. Okay. We don't appear to be braking, and the ship seems very confused about mass at the moment. You know, I think we're sinking. Okay, if we turn on our lifting thrust... We are slowing, but I think it's only my pod that's doing anything. Dang, so the rest of the ships don't... In this sort of situation, they don't seem to be holding orientation. I wonder if my square I did, I wonder if it was only the thrust of my ship controlling momentum. The other ships were just along for the ride, and that may have been the case. So, let's just see. Full burn. Oh, we are definitely cooking the ship. That vent probably isn't long for this world. We're moving like nothing else. I think we're deorbiting. It's hard to see anything. Yep, we've got some fires now. Oh boy. Okay. So, I mean, we're moving the ship. That's something. But I don't think I'd call this any sort of controllable tug system. We may have leveled out, actually. Yeah, I think once we got up to speed and the piston stopped jiggling, I think we've actually sort of leveled out. But I'm trying to turn right at full power. We are actually listing very lazily right. Hold on. Okay, I was about to decry this as a failure. If I can get us to that asteroid, my goal is to crash us into it. If I'm able to do that, I will consider this a drivable machine. I'm having to use the arrow keys to control things. I'm having to fight some stuff, but... oh, we can do it. I think our aim is true. It's hard to know. Here, we'll go first person. Okay. I think we've done it. Yes, yes, yes. I think that counts as drivability. Let's see what happens. Predictably, it all exploded. I forgot there was a cryo bay on this. Okay. I would call that a aimed collision. We definitely weren't just aiming at that asteroid. I had to position us on it. So, it's not perfect, but I'll call this a success. I suppose I should move back to the other ship. Yeah, a success, quote unquote. I don't think this is a particularly useful design. Didn't really seem to do what it needed to do in terms of, you know, I don't think precision movements of a large ship would be particularly possible. But it could be, you know, if you had a ship that was completely depowered or something, you just need to get it moving, it could do that. You could control in a very finite way. I didn't try braking at full speed. That would have probably been hilarious and deadly. But, yeah, not a perfect thing, but viable. And I do think, too, if you were, say you had everyone connected down with its own, you know, connection onto a more smooth-hulled vessel, you probably could actually control these things, you know, with a degree of success. So yeah, thank you everybody so much for watching. Feel free to leave any comments down in the comments section that could lead me to a fun idea. This one wasn't really even a suggestion of here's something to do so much as here's something I've been trying to do. But yeah, it's inspiring. And until next week, bye bye.